Oh, we're live. Welcome. All right. So first, let's kick it off with some introductions. Carl, why don't you?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Carl, also known as CTF2. I've been playing CTFs for many years. Kind of retired now, but help out organizing stuff. And I'm part of the LiveCTF organizing team here.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
Josh. Oh wait, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no.
Like drama in
Josh,
the kickoff stream.
Josh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm Josh. I go by Negasora pretty much everywhere. I've been doing CTFs for a decade. Also kind of retired. Now work more in organizing. But yeah, used to be part of our PISec.
And I am Jordan, or Cyphertex. I am definitely retired. None of this maybe stuff like the other two. I am a has-been. I was playing CTFs 20 years ago, and definitely just organize and talk about CTFs now instead of actually playing them. Which is why I get to introduce like the background of like the very first live CTF, because I was kind of there for some of the very, very beginnings. It actually started when GeoHot was messing around with doing some early live streaming and doing some live like head-to-head hacking. There was a couple of other challenges. I had with a couple of friends, we started Vector 35. We make Binary Ninja, but we also wanted I wanted to do like sports casting of CTF events. I thought this stuff would be cool, and so we did a couple of ones as well on our YouTube channel. But like this idea of like streaming and casting and talking about CTFs was super exciting. So we're glad to do it. But then I think Carl really kicked off like the era of like really doing it well with pony racing, right? So like that was I think the first time somebody did it really well.
Well, thanks. Yeah, so we ran pony racing for a year together with my at the time teammate Bob and some other team members from Hacking for Soju. So the idea was each episode we brought four players, guests, who would each get one pwn challenge, and the goal was to be the first one to solve it. And while they were doing that, we were like streaming their screens and trying to do like commentary, explain what they were doing and how to approach the challenges, and also talking generally about binary exploitations and so on. Yeah, and then that kind of then together with the previous stuff became like the inspiration for the live CTF last year at DEF CON.
We had, thanks to GeoHot for the domain name and like the branding of LiveCTF, and then a lot of the infrastructure that we pulled together, and so it's primarily like four of us. We'll have Glenn on the stream later. Josh, why don't you talk a little bit about like the finals last year, the structure of what the finals look like, and kind of how we did things then.
Yeah. So the finals last year were head-to-head, which was a big change from what it is now for Quals. Head-to-head, we got to see each team develop their exploits kind of in parallel, and we saw the different routes that people took, and that was really interesting. I think it was perfect route that made the run all the way through the bracket. But yeah, I think the first
Actually,
challenge.
we can pull that bracket up a little bit so people can
Amazing.
see it. It was in the live stream from last year. This was like the live bracket, so people could see what that.
Oh, it was Starbucks that won. That's my bad. But I think the first match, there was a solution. They solved it within a couple seconds of each other. We were talking before, and we're like, wasn't it like 5 keystrokes or something? And it was ridiculous. Like, what a way to kick off the big re-entry of live CTF.
And we were on the wrong screen. Like, Carl
Yeah,
and I
we
were like
were.
viewing the one screen, and then it was the other one that won. It was just like we heard this cheer before we even saw a solution. We're like, wait, who was that?
Yeah, it was like if you go back and watch the stream from like the first match, you can see there's like a moment of confusion there, which is pretty funny.
And of course, people can find us on livectf.com. There's a link at the bottom where it links to like all the streams from last year. There's also, you'll see the links to this stream, each of these streams that we're doing for the event this time. We apologize for those mobile friendly folks. The website's not very responsive, but it looks pretty with all its glowing edges and whatnot. So, all right, we are live now already with, I guess technically is our second challenge, right? So we had one little kind of test challenge. And this is a little bit different though, right? So like Josh, you were talking earlier about the bracket and head-to-head. Talk about how we had who was playing, how we determined the bracket for last year versus how we're doing things different this year in the qualifying event.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, finals, you have a finite set of teams. You have 16 teams, which is a really nice even number. Qualifiers, who knows how many teams will show up, and even then we can't set up 1v1s and cast each one. It's just not possible. So what we're doing for qualifiers is, instead of a 1v1 format, we're having a set number of challenges released over a set period of time each. Which, if you go to LiveCTF.com, or play.livectf.com, my bad, you'll see the schedule for them. So at the beginning of each challenge, we will have a challenge kickoff stream, and one where we'll cover what the last challenge was about after it's closed.
When you say closed, right? These, like, normally DEF CON challenges kind of open the whole rest of the event, right? But like, these are time limited, like the availability of these challenges.
Yeah. So we'll just go over the previous challenge, introduce the next challenge, and then it's off to the races, literally. Scoring will happen differently over time, if you want to talk about that. That's kind of, where the meat of the change lies.
Yeah, because before there's really no points. It's just like pass fail. Like whoever won moved on, and whoever didn't. And then it was like the final placement determined the scoring, right? So teams got points in the DEF CON finals based on their positioning in the bracket, but like it wasn't like a per challenge kind of point level.
And then this time we've then made it a bit different. So as I said, we will have 6 challenges, each running for 4 hours. So if you do the math, this adds up to 24 hours of LiveCTF challenges. So the LiveCTF portion is during the middle 24 hours of these qualifiers. So there has been nothing really going on the first 12 hours of the qualifiers, and there will be nothing happening in the last 12 hours for the LiveCTF portion. There has been a test challenge that has been open since the start, which teams can use to familiarize themselves with like the way this works.
Well, and the infrastructure is like different too, right? So this is not the same as like a normal DEF CON challenge where like, you can just get like a port, or you get a file you download and then you kind of solve it. This seems a little bit more complicated, right? So that test challenge is there so people can kind of practice working with the infrastructure.
Yeah, and so let's go over those changes. So I mean, if you've played CTFs before, normally if you have, for example, like a pwnable challenge, as Jordan mentioned, you get like a host and a port, and you connect, and you write your exploit script, which runs locally on your machine, and then it will interact with the service, provide some malicious input, hopefully gain you code execution, and you get the flag. Here, because we're doing these live streams, we had this idea like, what if we could like talk about the exploits from the different teams and like show them to the viewers? That would be really cool, but that's kind of like a problem because you're only running your exploit local in your machine. So then the idea was like, what if they upload the exploit and we run it for them? And that's basically what we did. So instead of running the exploit locally, you package the exploit, upload it, we will run it for you, and we'll evaluate whether it solves the challenge or not.
Yeah, so teams aren't submitting the answer; they're submitting the solution that generates the answer, and then we get to talk about it when we're done. So even in the middle of the CTF, we'll be able to like talk about challenges because they're only live for 4 hours, right? So after that 4-hour period, it's dead, and you can't get any more points on it, right? So it's kind of like a use it or lose it at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about like how that process of submission actually works then. So we know we've got 4-hour windows, and like when if a challenge is solved like immediately or towards the end, does like that impact like how the scoring works? Like what's the process there?
Yeah. So because we wanted to. When we put this together, we were thinking about like the live CTFs at the finals last year, and we want to kind of capture the essence of the live CTF. And like one component is like the speed component, right? And we already have a little bit by like time boxing the challenges, but we have made the scoring such that the first team to solve a challenge will get 50 points, and then the value of the challenge starts dropping off. And so the value of the challenge decreases with 1 point per 6 minutes, starting from the first solve. So if you are within 6 minutes of the first solver, you also get the full 50 points. But if you submit your correct solution, let's say 8 minutes after the first solver, you will get 49 points, and so on. And if you do the math on this, this means that within the 4 hours, the challenge will go down to 10, or like in practice, a little bit over 10 points before it closes.
But you always get, if you solve it in that 4-hour window, you're always guaranteed some points. But if it was like easy and one team solved it in the first 10 minutes and you didn't solve it until the very, very end, you're going to have much less points than they would have had. So like, does this, like, how does this impact with like timing and fairness? Like, we're already in different time zones now, but like, how do teams, like, how do they handle this, this part of it?
Yeah, so that's, that's of course a big concern. We have teams from all over the world, and our reasoning here was basically that if we spread this out over a 24-hour period, then it should be roughly as inconvenient for everyone.
Exactly. Everyone's inconvenienced. Nobody had any, necessarily a head start and know exactly what it was. I think maybe people could have the most was a day if they noticed our YouTube channel, if they were subscribed to YouTube and saw our upcoming events. Hey, maybe you should do that. You might get extra a few hours heads up notice. They could have seen when at least our broadcasts were spread out, but even then you don't know for sure until you see this, or you see the website went live, like exactly what the schedule is. And so yeah, so all teams were kind of hopefully equally disadvantaged. There's no perfect way to do it. That's one of the nice things about doing it in person, right? So when we were at the finals, everyone's already there in the room and we're all able to kind of do stuff. So I think that's one advantage there. But this one, we get way more people participating, and yeah, I'm excited to kind of see what people do. So okay, let's talk about like actually submitting it, right? Like, because we said you're submitting a solution, like, do you just upload a Python script, or how does that work?
Yeah. So the idea is, so that was kind of our initial idea, like, just upload a Python script, because a large number of teams nowadays use Python and Pwn tools to write their solutions, but not everyone. And we didn't want to disadvantage those teams. So the way we made it is that you upload a archive containing a Docker file, and we will build a Docker image containing your exploit with whatever resources it requires. And then we will put that Docker file, we will create a container from that together with the container with the actual challenge in an isolated network. And then your solution container will be able to connect to the challenge container, which will contain a randomly generated flag. And if this, you manage to exploit the service, you will get the flag, you print out the flag, and the whole system will mark the solution as valid. And
I like this because I think you came up with this idea that worked. It works really well because it strikes a balance between, you want to let teams build their own, like, you don't want people to be forced to use an exact set of tooling. Like, you can do anything you can put in Docker, you can run, right? Like, you had that build phase where you can do whatever crazy image you want. You could put your own Docker image on Docker Hub. Like, you can do all that kind of stuff. But then the solution has to be self-contained. We have to be able to take it. It has to run totally offline. Just do the solution, because that way we know you're not like manually like updating it afterwards. And we have it, kind of all there. And so that's then what we'll be able to talk about when we look at like the winning solution for this challenge, for example. Whenever it comes in, we'll be able to find and run and talk about it kind of in detail. So I think that's a cool balance. I hope the people both playing and watching enjoy it as well. So like, there's a web page you've got pulled up here, right here. What is this the only way to do that, or are there multiple ways to actually submit this?
Yeah, so we have an API where you can interact. You can get the current challenge. You can download the materials for that challenge. You can upload a solution. But then to make it like a little bit more convenient, we also created this as a front end. So basically, here you can download the files for either the test challenge or the currently active challenge, and you can upload your archive with your solution. You will also need a team ticket, and this is the tickets that you get from the main Nautilus scoreboard page. So you will see at the bottom there is a category for the LiveCTF. Oh, I haven't refreshed this, so I'm gonna do that. we can refresh this, and we see that there is a practice challenge, and then there's the currently open challenge. What amazement! So you can click here, and then if you scroll down here, there's a ticket. I'm not going to do that because I'm.
You don't want to put
logged
yours
in.
on. Yeah.
But at the bottom of this page, there's a ticket. You copy that, and you enter this here. You can upload your challenge, and it will run it. You can also write your own client to interact with the API, or just use like curl to submit your.
Yeah, let's show the full API docs, because Josh did a great job with those as well, right? So not only do you have that, but there's the little example shell script, you can do it there, and then the full API docs too. For we know of, I think at least one team has already written infrastructure to the API because they accidentally uploaded it once with their submission, right? So we're not gonna call them out yet, but so we do know that people are using it.
Some funky tactics out there.
We're also loving to see what people are trying. Yeah, we can't wait to talk more about that at the end. Carl, you might pull up the Nautilus page again too, because let's just emphasize, like, so LiveCTF, like I said, is sort of a small little group here that we're working with Nautilus Institute, and we've been really glad to participate with them both at finals last year and Quals this year. They did a great job, right? I really like this this vibe, this style of scoreboards. They've got like a house hunting kind of thing going on here, and yeah, check out the images that are associated with each sort of location in the scoreboard. I think they're pretty fun. There's some more coming on that over time. So, and in fact, one of the things I want to mention too is briefly, we had some feedback from people we talked to after the finals last year. They're like, "Why was it all pwnable?" And we're like, "Yeah, we intended to put like other style of challenges. We just ended up with all pwn at the finals last year. But this year we have a little bit more variety. So we've already got, of the 6 challenges, 2 are just pure RE challenges. So they're not like necessarily exploit writing as much as more RE ones. So we hope people kind of enjoy that. And yeah, you don't get a heads up, you don't get a warning on this one, but like at finals, we'll kind of give people like hints beforehand so they know the best person from their team to send up. So we're going to be available on the DEF CON CTF Discord. So if you're not already in there, feel free to ask questions. We don't have like little tags in our names, but you'll see us. You can always check with the Nautilus folks for confirmation on who's legit. But not to be confused with legit BS, who's legitimate. But yeah, I think that's all we got. Josh, Carl, you guys, anybody else want to?
Oh, good luck, have fun. Hack harder, hack faster. That's the only advice I can give.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, like, I hope people have fun with these speed rounds. I hope this whole infrastructure that we have built holds up. And if you have any questions or comments, please write in the DEF CON CTF Discord channel, and we will try to look at that as fast as possible. And yeah, and also to everyone watching the streams, I hope you will enjoy these broadcasts that we'll be doing and trying to give a little bit of insight into these challenges and exploits that we will be running.
Yeah, just for context, these are like challenges that kind of like have, they're simpler than a lot of the normal DEF CON challenges, but that means that they're both going to be good for fast and differentiating the really good teams that can do it quickly. But also they kind of show off some of the concepts, right? So they show off really a couple of simple things that are themes or concepts that come up a lot in CTF. So we hope it's both learning, we hope it's entertaining, we hope the players have fun. Although I know not everyone likes the stressful time component of it, but I think it's worth it in the end. So thanks everybody. We'll see you. We'll be back in a little bit under 4 hours, and we'll have our first set of solutions to go over. Hopefully, we hope if things go well. So, all right, take care, everybody.